Hello and good evening everyone. This is a continuation of the project 0x02 functions nested loops. So today we are going to continue from task 15 of the project. So this is each new term in the Fibonacci sequence is generated by adding the previous two terms. Yes, we realize that to find the next term of a Fibonacci, we sum the two previous numbers, right? So by starting with 1 and 2, the first 10 terms will be 1, 2, up to 89. That is the Fibonacci of numbers below 10, the first 10 Fibonacci numbers, right? So by considering the terms in the Fibonacci sequence whose values do not exceed 4 million, write a program that finds and prints the sum of the even valued terms followed by a new line. So now what this is saying is that we are going to check for the Fibonacci's that do not exceed 4 million. And in this Fibonacci that do not exceed 4 million, we are going to write a program that will find and print the sum of the even valued terms. So it means that we need to divide this by 2, right? If the remainder is 0, it means what? We've found an even number. So we need to what? We need to sum them. Okay? So write a program that finds and prints the sum of the even valued terms. So we are going to what? Find the even valued terms first, and then we are going to sum them. So at the end, our function or our program should print the sum. That's also what this question is saying. So let's see how to solve this. Let me create this. So this is a program we're writing, right? So this is going to be hash include stdio.h, right? All right. So here I'll just say int main, and then I'll pass in void. So here I think I can just document Betty here. So I'll just say main. Let me just say main function here. So the next thing is what? Is return. Sorry, I need to use capital R. So what is this return? Return 0, right? So here and here. All right. So here I can simply say return, and then I'll pass in the 0 as the return value. All right. So now what's the first thing we need to do? Take note that our limit here is what? Is 4 million, right? The Fibonacci sequence values should not exceed 4 million. The Fibonacci sequence, they are not saying that we should what? We should find the Fibonacci of numbers from 1 to 1 million. No. This is the sequence, that is the Fibonacci itself. Okay, the Fibonacci should not exceed 4 million. Okay, so what we're going to do here is I'm going to create a variable to store this limit here. So I'm going to call it limit. So I would just say int limit. I would just say equals to what? 4 million. So now I have it stored, right? So the next thing is I need to store these variables 1 and 2, term 1 and term 2, just like the way we did in the previous problem on this same Fibonacci. So I'll call it term 1, which is equals to 1, and then term 2 again, term 2, which is equals to 2. So what's the next thing we need to do? So the next thing is we need to declare a variable next, which is going to store the summation of what? Term 1 and term 2, right? This will give us the word Fibonacci of the next number, right? So and what's the next thing? I'm going to declare another variable. I'm going to call it sum. This is the variable that will store the summation of what? Of this Fibonacci that is what? That is divisible by 2. It says that write a program that finds and prints the sum of the even valued terms. So the sum of the even valued terms. So I'm going to declare a variable sum here, and even numbers from 1 to starting from 1, which of the number is the first even number we normally see. From 1, the first even number is 2, right? So I'm initializing my sum with what? With 2. Do you get it? I'm initializing my sum with 2 because when you start from 1, 2 is the first even number that you find, right? So the next thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to create a loop, right? I'm going to create a loop. So I'm going to use while. In this case it's easier. You can use the for loop, it is still going to work, but now let's just do something different. So here I'm going to say while next. We all know what the while loop does. In the while loop here, we are going to set a condition that will keep the loop running. So what I'm saying here is while next is less than or equals to what? Limit. So we know that next is going to give us the Fibonacci of the next number, right? So all I'm saying here is that as far as the next number we are getting is less than or equals to the limit, and this limit is where? Is what? Sorry, is 4 million. So as far as the next character is less than or equals to limit, so with this we will not exceed the limit, right? We are targeting only the values that are less than or equals to the limit. So we are not exceeding the limit. So while next is less than or equals to the limit, what should we do here? I need to what? Say next is equals to what? Term 1 plus term 2. This is not something new. We've already explained this. To get the next Fibonacci number, you need to sum term 1 and term 2. So if while next is less than or equals to limit, sum term 1 and term 2 to get the next value. Do you get it? That's where we get the next Fibonacci number. So the next thing we need to do here is we need to check, right? We need to check if next, this same number here, Fibonacci number, if it is divisible by 2. So I'll just say if next modulo 2, I want to check because here they say sum of even valued. So even number is a number that is divisible by 2 without remainder. That's why I'm setting this condition. So if next modulo 2 is equals to 0, it means what? That value of next is what? Is an even number, isn't it? So here I'll just say sum is equals to sum plus next. So with this, I have what? Don't forget I've initialized sum to 2 because 2 is the first even number, right? In natural numbers, 2 is the first even number. So I've already set sum to be equals to 2. So this is going to be 2 plus what? Next, isn't it? Because next is divisible by 2 without remainder. If next is not divisible by 2 without remainder, it is not going to sum it. So this part of the loop, of the if statement will not be executed. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is, after the if statement, what do we need to do? We need to update term 1 and term 2, right? So I will just say term 1 is equals to what? Term 1 is equals to term 2, just like the way we did in the previous example. Term 1 is equals to term 2 now. So what will term 2 be? So term 2 will now be equals to what? Next. So term 2 will now be equals to next. So this way I've updated the value of term 1 and term 2, right? So after each iteration, the values of term 1 and term 2 will be updated. I've already explained this in this previous example here, example 14. So if you don't understand what I'm doing here, refer to this task 14. I'm sure you will get it. Okay, so the next thing we need to do here is just print the answer. That's what the question says. It says we should what? Print the sum. So I'll just say printf and then what? %d, right, for the sum, and then on a new line /n, and then I will just say sum. So this is going to print the sum. Okay, this is going to print the sum here. All right, so let's check this. Before that, let's run Betty on the file 103. All right, so Betty is fine. So let's compile 103. Sorry. So let me just call it 3 here. All right, so run it. So as you can see, we got 461,732. 461,732. So this is the what? This is the summation of the even valued numbers. Okay, even valued numbers. This is the summation of the even valued numbers. 461,3732. Okay, so this is simply how to solve this problem here. Okay, so thank you very much. To meet in our next session. Don't forget to add, commit, and push to your GitHub repository. Bye bye.